Good morning, guys. Okay, this session is going to be a recorded session. So I'm going to wait for other people to come in, then we can start. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. All right, so I guess we have Mercy, Jagsy, Brown Sugar, iPhone. You're welcome. Good morning. Okay, I want to be sure that you can hear me. Can you hear me? Say hello.
Hello.
Okay, that's good. All right, so you're welcome.
But switch off the music behind you.
Oh, okay, it's kind of loud.
Yes.
All right, is that better?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. All right, so I don't really want to waste too much of everybody's time. So it's a recorded session, and I'll probably post this video on YouTube and on the group. So you're all welcome. What we have here is 5 days on the AUD USD, and this strategy is it's owned by somebody that is doing amazing things for himself. All right, so it's owned by this guy. All right, and what I wanted everybody to do was to check on the YouTube for his videos. Okay, that will be after the session anyway, so you can check online for this guy's video. Okay, all right, so this was what he was able to do for himself. So we wanted to be sure that this thing works, so we had to go look for him and look for the strategy. So right now, what you're looking here, what you're looking at right here, is the strategy. Now, how does the strategy work? It's very easy because it follows the same principle as what we already had. Okay, so if you look over here, we can find on the daily, we're on the 30-minute chart. And so over here is a weekly. And what it means is that there is a bearish cross in the currency here. And so we wanted to use this time to look at the most volatile currencies, which are the AUD USD, the AUD JPY, the GPP JPY, the GPB USD. So we also have the NZD JPY. So I'm adding that here. So this is the NZD JPY. on the 30 minutes time frame. So I'm gonna put the template right there. So you see on the template, it comes with an alert and tells you that the last signal it found was a sell signal on the NZDJPY on 30 minutes. So if we look at that, it was right here. It was right at this point. And so if you look on this software, you'll find the bearish engulfing, the bearish cross, the bearish engulfing. This was all on Friday. And so look at the entry point. It was very early. Okay. If you look at the white arrow and this yellow one, they are all pointing downwards. And so what happens after that? The market dropped significantly. So if you look over here, this was on Thursday. We have the white arrow, we have the yellow, we have the green right there, and we have the circle. So all of them are aligning together. And so if you put this point over there, the market went up from that point to over here. Now let's go back. Go back. Now, if you look at this point where you have the white arrow, if you measure it to this white arrow right down here, you can see how far the market went for 2 days. It went down for about 200 pips. In a whole day, there was no signal. And all what we were having was the dark cloud, the bearish engulfing, and the dark cloud. And you can see that the candlestick was all in blood red, meaning that the downtrend was a very strong one for the whole day. And so these are the points where you don't get it wrong. Now, it started the week with a red circle over there, and it ended the week with a green circle, meaning that the week on Monday was to be a selling market. And so the market started selling from Monday, reversed back on Tuesday to the upside, and continue. And notice, this is the daily open line. And so whenever the market opens every day, there is this green line. And so as soon as the market crosses below it, you can see the candlesticks turn blood red, meaning that this market was a selling market all through the week. And so at this point, the market broke the daily to the downside. And as soon as that happened, the candlesticks became all red. So this is very visual enough for anybody to see. And if you measure that amount of pips that was right there, it is a whole lot. It is a whole lot. So now I want to go to the main strategy. Now from what we have learned, if an account is running on a $100 account, what you need to see is the opportunity to be able to turn this into about 300 per week. Are you getting me, guys? So what
Yes.
do you have to do? What you have to do is very simple. Now, whenever there's a signal on this software, there's always a 50 pip. There's always a 50 pip to the cost. Now, if you look over here, the market opened with the red dots, the yellow arrow, the red arrow, and the white arrow. So the white arrow is the green, is the trigger one. And so as soon as that popped up, you would enter and take just 50 pips right there. And so we have 60 over here. So let's say you didn't take up to that. You started somewhere here. You still have about 40 to 45 pips. And so you would take that with a standard lot size of on the account, and you would take a 0.1 trade. And so at every 50 pips, you'll be making exactly $50 from that. Are you with me, guys? So I'm going to mark and we're going to count together. So we're starting with the NZDJPY and the 30 minutes. Now, let's say this was your first trade for the week on a Monday. If you didn't get up to 50, it's okay. But we're going to use the base as 50. So this would be knowing that this is going to be the weekly cycle. Once this comes out, you're going to get the weekly in the downtrend continuously. So all you'll be looking for will be the sell trades. And so the next trade you'll be taking will be right here on a Tuesday. And so it gets to this point where you see the dots, you see the bear cross, meaning that the sellers are more in the market. You see the bearish engulfing, you see the dark cloud. So your trade was to be entered as this white arrow. And so you can see if you were taking 50, this next day you wouldn't be taking 50. So let's calculate how much you have there. So from here, considering your standard lot size, you will take this trade and end it somewhere here. And that was for about 128. So let's say 120. All right. So if you're booking 120 with a standard lot 0.1, considering that you have $100 in your account, the second trade was going to give you a $120 profit. And that's right from this point to this point. Now, the market positioned you for another great opportunity as soon as this dark cloud came up. Because with the dark cloud, what it means is that this price is not coming back. And these lines are drawn automatically. And can you see from this day until Friday, the market tried to come up to that level and never broke the level. And so from this day, the dark cloud was confirming. And we have a arrow that is pointing right there. It's very faint, but you can see it right here with the red dots. So from that point, you're going to take another one from there to right here. And so let's measure how much you have in that move. And so from that point to this point, it's another 50. It's another 50. So we're going to write that down again and see how much we can actually make in a week from just one currency pair. So 0.1 again is going to give you another 50. And you started the week with $100 account. So we already have here 220. So if you see over here, these are the confluences that you don't want to miss. Once everything pops up together, there's about 4 different programs telling you to buy. So as soon as the market was giving you the sign, you're going to take another trade and close out here. So let's measure how much we have in that move over there. So can you see? We have about 59 pips right there again. So we're going to add it up to our 50. So this is the strategy that these guys are using to turn a small account into $1 million account. And we're going to do that same thing in this group. All right. Starting from Monday. So over here, we have taken this move. And so immediately you can see there was another bearish engulfing, bearish cross, and the bearish engulfing pattern, meaning that the bears are still controlling this market. And remember, we got these from the beginning of the week. That was a clue that this was going to be a selling market. And notice this yellow arrow never came back until this point. So meaning that if you took a trade from this point, from the yellow one, this was your exit. All right. And if you wanted to follow the zigzag of the market, you can do that also. So, but we want to break it into 50-50 for your trade. So from this point, we're going to take the last one on Friday. All right. And end up right here for 89 pips. So let's say you take 70 out of that. Okay, considering the spread and all that. So we're gonna add it up to what we have right here. So it's the last one for the week, and let's say we took 70 out of that. So let's put that together. This is just one currency pair for a whole week, and these are the most volatile currency pair you have on the forex market. So 50, 50, 100, 150 plus 120, that's 270. 270 plus 70 is going to give us $340. $340 on just one currency pair. All right, this is what NZDJPY. So we got $340 from this. And just looking at the charts, you'll be able to see each point because it's very clear enough from this white arrow to this white arrow, from this white arrow to this white arrow, from this white arrow to this white arrow, from this white one to the white one
To
here,
the white.
from the white one here to the white one, and that was the last move for the week. So we were able to calculate the minimum of 340, starting with $100 account in a week. So if you do this for 4 weeks, all right, you'll be having about 1,200 and above, starting with just $100. So this is just trading just one currency pair at a time. Uh, all right, so this is the first step. Are you with me, guys? We're going to look at other currency pair to confirm if this is true about this software. And so we'll go to the AUD USD. It's also one of the most um, volatile currency pair. And you'll find out that all these pairs are very closely correlated. They are closely correlated. We're looking at the AUD JPY, AUD USD, and it's looking almost like the NZD JPY. You see the structure? And so it gives you an idea of what you have to do throughout the week. So you'll just be looking for selling trades, selling trades. And so over here was the same scenario. The all the arrows were popping up at the same time. We had a bearish cross and market dropped below the daily open. And can you see as soon as it dropped below that point, the candlesticks turned blood red. So meaning that the sell trade was confirmed, all right, by the candlesticks. And so if you take a measurement of how much you're going to make from this move, it is in this 70 pips range. And if you wanted to take 50, you will have stopped out somewhere here. All right. And so it add more moves to the downside because this was telling you, I was pointing you down to the downside. And so you have no way to make mistakes looking at this kind of charts. And so we would take our measurement and say, okay, we have 50 pips from that move. So let's put down the 50. This is the AUD USD. We're going to calculate how much can we make in a week from this. So this is the first 50 right here. Now the market positions you for a buy. You see the full stop right there. You see this and you see this. These are telling you to buy. So if you bought from this point, you were going to close out somewhere here. So if we put a measurement there, you will see, do we have 50? Yes, we have more than 50. This is 70, about 74 to 77 pips. So let's just put 50 pips from that move. And remember, you're starting your week with just $100, and you've been able to double your account in just two moves, just two trades. You see that? In just two trades, one here, second one here, and they are very clear to see. Then remember, your weekly is still on the downside. And so as soon as the market got to this level, which was right below the first bearish cross of the week, you got a red dot. You got a white arrow pointing downwards, and you have a second arrow telling you to sell. So at that point, you're going to sell and close out here. So let's measure how much do we have right there. So if you took this, it was about 63. So we're going to write 50 for that also. So in just three moves, you've been able to take this pre-trades, and they are giving us. So we're gonna write this down now. That will be another 50 from right here on the second day of the week, and you're already in 150. And so from here again, you can see the white arrow, you can see the dots, you can see the arrow. As soon as the market crosses above the daily line, you're ready to buy. And so if you bought from this point, we're gonna take a measurement on how much pips you have in there. So if you look at this is given about 37 pips. So let's say about 30. That's what you could take from that move. And remember, it's a continuous market. It follows the market completely to any level. And so as soon as you were closing out, you were to sell again because we have the shooter, we have the bearish Arami pattern, and all are in red. And remember, the weekly started in the selling mode. So this yellow one doesn't come up until this point. So you were going to sell from here, right? And close out somewhere here. Or you could close out on the downside, but we're just going to take 50 pips out of this market each. So you can see as soon as the market was selling, the candlestick turned blood red. And so this was the entry. So this is another 50 right there. If you were holding for longer, you could go as far as about 90. So, but let's put just 50 over here again. All right, remember this is the prophetic strategy. We're still going to look at what this guy has been able to do with this strategy. So we have another 50 right here. So if you look here, this is another confluence of all the signals. All right. As soon as they were confirming to the upside, you were to take the trade. So we're going to measure what we have over here and see. All right. So we have about 40 pips right there. So let's book another 30. Let's book another 30 over there. Let's just book 30. So this is the prophetic strategy, guys. It's changing the way everybody is thinking right now. So from that point, you get to this point again where you have on a Friday, you found a bearish engulfing pattern. You found all the arrows pointing down. Then the market came down a little, came back to this point to retest this resistance, and it never broke. But you got another arrow to the downside telling you to sell. All right. So at this point, it was a selling market. Once the price crossed the daily, you took the trade. And if you took that trade from right there to this point, you have another 51. So let's say you got only 40 of it. Maybe you just got 40. So let's put all these numbers together and see how much we would have in a week just trading the AUD USD on a 30-minute time. So this 50 plus 50, 100, 200, 230, 260 plus 40 is giving us exactly 300. Do you see, guys? So this is the strategy that has been used by a 24-year-old guy who owns the software and presently is sitting on $4 million in withdrawal from his account. Okay, some of you might have not learned about him, but he has broken all the record of all the traders in the whole world by starting an account from last year June with a $2, and today he's sitting with $4 million in his account, and he isn't stopping right there because every day when he wakes up, he sees this market and takes how much he really wants. So from two currency pairs, we've been able to choose to take out about 300, 300. So meaning that you could end up your $100 account on $600 for a week, within a week. Are you listening, guys? So if you look here, so I thought, so this guy was able to do $2 to 300 in a day, in a day. And so here we are, we're just calculating $100 to 600 in a week. So you can see the difference, guys. And what's the difference? We are trying to be very conservative with our trading system, with our trading strategy. All right. So 1 to 600, meaning that you got 600% in a week. So if you did this in 4 weeks, you'll be having about $2,400, starting with just $100 in your account. Are you with me, guys? And you're doing the same thing repeatedly. And this market is going to be the same as last week, because what it's going to do is to first give you a weekly, and once you know your weekly, you follow the arrows to take your trade. And so once you take that trade, you only going to take 50 pips out of the market. So your target, your take profit will always be on 50 pips. And so once you put that in, because these currency pairs are always moving more than 50 pips at once. And so they would most likely give you the 50 pips before you even know it. So we'll go to the AUD JPY. So on the AUD JPY, they are also looking the same. Started the week with this bearish red circle. We got all the arrows at once. And so you can never be wrong once you get everything aligning at the same point. And so these are the points where this guy will take in about 50 lot sizes at once. So, but for us, we're just looking for 50 pips. So let's look over there. Do we have 50? We have 50 over there. This is about 60 pips from this point, right? From this point, we're taking 50 at this point. And so let's do the mathematics right now. Let's do the maths. So this is our first 50 for the week. All right. So knowing that the market is going to be selling, we're looking for sell trade. So this is the second one. This is another 60, but we have 50, making 100 right there. And so from this point, you had a buying opportunity. You had a full stop, you had the white arrow, you had the green one. So you take a trade right there, you end up with another 50. That's 150. Then you come to this confluence of the armor, the white arrow, the bearish engulfing pattern, all are bearish patterns. So you have enough time to take a trade. And once the market turns blood red, you will take the trade and close out down here. That's another 50. So that's about 200 right there. 200. So the market was always going to sell hard. So, and you see, as soon as the market confirmed the white arrow, what happened on the next candlestick? The next candlestick turned red. Can you see that? And so if you didn't take the first candlestick, you still have opportunity to enter on the second candlestick. So is there 50 there? There's more than 50. There's more than 50. So that's 250 already. Then you go to bed about this time, and later in the day, you got this confluence again. Then you take a trade. This is about 80 right there. So you take 50 from that again, you have 300 already. Then you see this on a Friday, all the arrows are pointing down, then you get the dark cloud. And you see the dark cloud? The dark cloud means that price is not coming back to this level at this time. And so as soon as the market was ready to sell, it went down, came back a little, then turned to blood red, found a bearish cross, then you take a trade. You take a trade. So you still have another 50 for the end of the week. So we've been able to take about 350 from this currency pair. All right. So I can show you this all over and over again. This is a 350. You just started the week with $100 in your account. Remember, you're taking just zero point 0.1 lot size. and there has been no stop losses used, no stop losses, no stop losses, no stop losses, no stop losses, no stop loss, no stop losses. Can you see? So the beauty of this thing is that you would gain confidence on the market. All right. We have seen this working several times. So let's go to the GPP JPY. The GPP JPY has more volume. It has more volume. So we're going to calculate how much, and you can see they're all looking the same. The market structure is all looking the same. They started the week with a bearish signal, and so as soon as the market opened, we got the arrow, we got the circle, we got all the white arrows pointing down, and so you take a trade right there. You have 85 pips right here from this candlestick. 85. Do you see that? This is about 80. That's the GPB JPY. So if you're interested in taking the buy, you could take the buy right here, and you end up with another 60. You end up with about 62 right there, 62. Then you take the sell trade. All right, you take the sell trade. That's another 50. Then you see this sell, and you see the sell. As soon as the white arrow and this red arrow showed up, the candlestick turned blood red. Do you see that? So you took another trade over there. You have 150 pips. 150 pips. So the GPP JPY is one of the most volatile currency pair, and they give you huge opportunities. So in 2 days, you've been able to take about 200 from just Monday and Tuesday only. So let's go to Wednesday. This is Wednesday. On Wednesday, it's the same story. You got a full stop right there. You have the white, this 100 pips right there instantly. It's 100. All right. So the market comes to this level of confluence, and you can see all the arrows pointing up again. And you didn't take the market started, and it ended up with about 89 pips. Then from that moment, you get to this place on Friday where the price crossed below the daily open. Then the candlestick turned blood red again. And you can find the bearish engulfing pattern at that point. And that means that the bears are in control of the market. So we were going to sell from that point and close out here with 140 pips. All right. So this is all about this strategy. And the strategy is that a trader is not meant to sit on the computer a whole day taking small lot sizes and waiting for profits to accumulate. You can actually just break down your profits into smaller size and accurate trades where you're going to be making the money instantly. So in just 2 trades over here, you have over $200. So, so if you have a software that can give you, that can turn $100 to 300 every week. If you do this for 4 weeks, you're having $1,200 on your account. That's considering just one currency pair. So if you're taking 2 currency pairs, you're gonna have $2,400 on your account. And starting from Monday, this is gonna happen because those who have been using this software are already turning the market into a machine of a printing machine. So I'm going to quickly go to this guy's video so you can see what he's been doing for himself. He turned $2 to $300 all in one day using this software. So we went ahead and searched for him. And as you can see in this video, you can see his account balance is just $2.36. It closed 300, 294, all in one day. The same 300 you were trying to get with your $100 and you were doing for a week. This guy did it in one day. in just 1 day. So you're doing it for 5 days. So why would this be a risk? It's not a risk on your account. All right. The main thing you should focus on now is how do you get this strategy? And so we have we have deployed this on all our computers right now, and we're using this for our trading now. And so if you look at the pound dollar for a week, one, two, three, four, five, they were given the same stories. On a Friday, it ended up with a dot right there. We had a yellow arrow, meaning that the week is going to be on the downside. And so we started the week with a dark cloud, bearish cross, and as soon as that came up, the candlestick turned blood red. So you can see it. The GBP USD gave $138. So if you didn't take any trade over here, you went to the next day, you can see that there was a confluence of two arrows at the same time. These are the points where you don't get it wrong. You took that trade, you end up with about $60 right there. So you have a hammer, the bearish cross, knowing that it's going to be a selling week. The candlestick turned red, you get 85 pips right there. The market puts you in this position again. You take a trade, you're going out with 100 pips. And knowing that there's a dark cloud, this market is not coming down again. So it went down all the way continuously from this point and got to this full stop. And so from that point, it went up a little and got onto Friday. Then on Friday, you can see there was a bearish engulfing, there was a full stop, there was an arrow, there was another arrow, and the market did what? Came down all the way for 120 pips to end your week with $120 on the pound dollar. So if somebody was doing this in a day, why can't you do it in a week? And so the job of a trader is not to sit right there and try to take a few pips, because today now this guy is having $4 million. He made a withdrawal for $4 million just last week, and he started. Remember, he started from what? He started from just $2 last year. Okay, he started from $2. So this is the guy here. He's still a 24-year-old guy, and is mind blowing to all the forex traders in the world. And we've been able to, acquire the same knowledge that he uses for this trading. And the secret is that at every point in time, if you look closely here, you can see that his account balances are now in the millions. They are now in the millions, if you can see. They are now in the millions. And it does the same thing every day. It does the same thing every day. Okay. Look here. Each of his trading is having a $50, a 50 pip move, a 50 lot size rather. So on this trade alone, it was doing 1.4 million in profit right there. All the trades were running. Each one of them was 95,000, 95,000, 95,000, 95,000, 95,000, 95, 95. So, and it was trading the pound dollar. Okay, so 50 times 95. This is just in about 20 pips. This is just about 20 pips. Okay, in 20 pips of movement on 50 lot sizes is getting close to 95,000. So it took about 10 of them, 10 trades. So you can see he's having 1.4 million in just one trade. And it netted about 4 points something million dollars at once. So really, we have less than 1 minute actually on the timer. So we're gonna continue as soon as this timer ends. We're gonna start all over again. And so maybe you didn't get some points, so I'm gonna go back and explain everything again. All right, guys. So see you back in about 1 minute time.